Hey everyone, this is Dr. Paz from your school counseling office with a few helpful tips to get you guys started for the year. Everything requires practice, whether you're learning a new dance maybe, or you do extracurricular, after school, band, perhaps maybe you enjoy art, or creating your own DIY. Everything requires you to have some form of practice, rehearsal, studying that script for a play, or working behind the scenes. Maybe you're an athlete and you have to condition. You have practice after school. Or maybe you're part of a special club and you're just trying to find that perfect outfit. Everything requires some type of practice or study. Now let's take a look at a few good study habits to help you with your classes this year.
The first habit is not leaving things till the last minute. This is a habit I've developed in the last year or so. Before that, I used to procrastinate everything to the last minute, and that made my life so much more stressful. The funny thing is that I would even justify it by saying that I work better under pressure, and procrastinating is the right thing to do because in the end, it's going to improve my efficiency. And if you tell the same thing to yourself, then let me be the one to tell you that this is just an excuse to procrastinate and nothing more. So the habit is basically to start your work as soon as you can. This is going to take a lot of stress out of your life. You're going to be more focused and efficient when doing work, and just overall, this will improve your productivity. At first, you're going to struggle with getting started, so I'd recommend setting deadlines for yourself to give you a bit of a push to get started on your schoolwork. I like to set a timer on my phone and challenge myself to finish the studying or whatever else I have to do before the timer rings, and that's all the motivation I need to sit down and get that work done. The second habit is to study every day. When I say this, I don't necessarily mean that you have to study every day. What I mean instead is that you should space out your studying over several days instead of cramming everything into one study session. There are several reasons for this, but the main one is that you can only be focused for a short period of time every day. Because of that, when you try to do all your work in one day, you're going to be less efficient and it's just going to take you longer. Not only that, but also it's much easier to stay motivated when you have to do an hour or two of studying every day. However, it's much harder to motivate yourself to sit down and study for the entire day because you didn't do any work for the rest of the week. The best way to implement this habit is to make studying a part of your daily routine. A small tip I have is to create a study plan for yourself and plan exactly what you're going to study every day or whenever you want to study, and that way you will be able to manage all your schoolwork much more easily. The next habit is to ask questions and get help if you need it. If you have a question or something that you don't understand, don't ever be afraid or shy to raise your hand and ask that question. Teachers are there to help you and guide you through the process of studying. So use your opportunity and ask as many questions as you have, as many as you need, until you understand everything clearly. This may be just me, but whenever I don't raise my hand and ask a question, that exact same question always comes up on a test or a quiz or even worse, an exam, and I just end up losing points. So don't be like me, raise your hand and ask any questions you may have. Moving on, the fourth habit is to preview the chapter before class. Knowing what you're going to cover in the next class is really helpful. It allows you to take notes faster, understand things better, and better structure your notes as well. So it has multiple benefits. One thing, however, I want to emphasize is that you don't have to do all the studying and all the work and kind of be ahead of class. Instead, you just want to take 2-3 minutes to skim through the next chapter of your textbook just to be aware of the concept and everything like that. Another tip I have is to write down anything you don't understand that well on a sticky note. So if that question isn't addressed during class, you can raise your hand and ask that question, and then write down the answer on that sticky note. Some of the chapters can be particularly difficult and complex than others, and in that cases, I like to take a few notes on that chapter. Nothing too crazy, but just a few bullet points to summarize the entire thing. It just really helps me out. Again, this is something that doesn't have to take up a lot of your time. Just make it a part of your everyday study routine and you'll be good to go. The next habit is to be as organized as possible in school. A little bit of organization can make a huge difference in terms of how stressed you are in school, because if you're organized, you'll be able to manage your work better, your time better, and everything is just much easier when you're organized. Being organized can mean multiple things. One of the most important ones is that you have an academic calendar where you can keep track of all the assignments, projects. Unfortunately, sometimes you get sick or certain personal matters come up and you have to miss school days. And if this ever happens, it's important to study the chapters that you missed as hard as you can. Maybe your teacher talked about something during the class that you missed that could come up on a test. Try borrowing notes from a few different people so the information is all correct and complete, so you don't have any missing parts of the lecture or anything like that. I'd also recommend taking a few video lessons on the internet. There are multiple YouTube channels as well as websites such as Khan Academy that can help you. This may only be me, but whenever I miss a chapter, it kind of becomes my weakness. There are always little things that I don't understand that well, or a question that suddenly comes up on the test that wasn't in my friend's notes or in the textbook. So I would definitely recommend studying as much as you can on those concepts so they don't end up hurting you and you don't end up losing points because of these things.
Thanks, Ellen Kelly, for those awesome and amazing tips. Be sure to look her up. She's a YouTuber in case you want more strategies. Please be certain to take advantage of Power Hour this year, after school tutoring, and any other opportunities to help to promote success for you. Have a great year, guys.